The air crackled with tension, a palpable sense of anticipation hanging over the crowd. Inside the hallowed halls of the Supreme Court, a battle raged, not with swords or guns, but with words and ideas, not with fiery speeches, but with pointed questions and carefully crafted arguments, each side presenting their case with precision. At stake, the very meaning of American citizenship, a concept that has defined the nation for centuries. On one side, the Trump administration, challenging the long-held principle of birthright citizenship, a move that sparked intense debate. On the other, defenders of the 14th Amendment, a cornerstone of equality since the ashes of the Civil War, stood firm. This case wasn't just about legalities, it was personal, affecting the lives of countless families across the nation. Families like Dina and Henry's, Kenyan asylum seekers with a US-born daughter, watched with bated breath, their future hanging in the balance. Would their little girl be rendered stateless, stripped of the only home she had ever known? The court's decision could tear families apart, redefine the American fabric, and set a precedent for generations to come, altering the course of history. But this case had another layer, another fight playing out beneath the surface. The power of nationwide injunctions, a legal tool with far-reaching implications. Could a single judge, with the stroke of a pen, halt a president's agenda for the entire country, challenging the very structure of governance? The very balance of power within the government hung precariously in the balance, a delicate dance of checks and balances that defines the American democracy. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. These words, enshrined in the 14th Amendment since 1868, have long been the bedrock of American citizenship. They were written in the aftermath of the Civil War, a time when the nation was grappling with its identity and the meaning of freedom. They declared a simple yet powerful truth. Being born on U.S. soil makes you an American regardless of your parents' status. This principle has been a beacon of hope for many, symbolizing the inclusive nature of the American dream. This principle, known as birthright citizenship, has faced challenges before. Throughout history, various groups have questioned its validity and scope. In the late 19th century, some argued it shouldn't apply to children of Chinese immigrants. This was a time of significant anti-Chinese sentiment and exclusionary laws. The Supreme Court disagreed, affirming the amendment's broad language. In the landmark case of United States v. Wong Kim Ark, the court upheld the principle that birthright citizenship applies to all. Yet, here we are again. The debate over who gets to be an American is far from settled. The Trump administration's executive order, an attempt to limit birthright citizenship for children of undocumented immigrants and those here on temporary visas, reignited the debate. This move has sparked widespread controversy and legal challenges. Is this a legitimate exercise of presidential power or an overreach that undermines a fundamental right? The answer to this question will shape the future of American identity and the very fabric of its society. The battle over birthright citizenship isn't the only fight before the court. Looming large is the question of nationwide injunctions. These court orders, issued by a single judge, have the power to block federal policies from coast to coast. Proponents argue they're essential tools to protect individual rights from executive overreach. They point to their use in halting discriminatory travel bans and protecting vulnerable populations from deportation. Without them, they argue, the government could violate constitutional rights with impunity, leaving individuals powerless to fight back. Critics, however, decry them as judicial overreach. They argue that allowing one judge to override the will of the elected president, potentially impacting millions, undermines democracy and the separation of powers. They contend that the judicial branch should interpret the law, not make policy for the entire nation. Inside the stately Supreme Court chamber, the justices peppered lawyers with questions, their words echoing with the weight of history. Chief Justice John Roberts, known for his measured approach, expressed concern about the sweeping power of nationwide injunctions. "Isn't there a problem," he queried, "with a single district judge being able to issue an order that stops the government from enforcing a law nationwide?" His question cut to the heart of the matter. How much power should one unelected judge wield? The courtroom buzzed with anticipation. Would the court, often divided along ideological lines, rein in the power of nationwide injunctions? Or would they uphold their use as a vital check on executive power? Section 5. Sotomayor's stand guns and citizenship. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, a liberal voice on the court, didn't mince words. Known for her incisive questioning and unwavering commitment to justice, she brought her full force to bear on this issue. She sharply questioned the administration's argument that limiting relief to individual plaintiffs would suffice. Her tone was firm, her gaze unwavering, as she dissected the implications of such a stance. What's the difference, she pressed, between saying everyone has a right to bear arms, but you can only sue in your own individual capacity, and saying everyone born in the United States has a right to citizenship, but you can only assert it in your individual capacity? Her questions cut to the heart of the matter, exposing the potential inconsistencies in the administration's position. Her analogy, drawing a parallel between gun ownership and birthright citizenship, resonated through the courtroom. It was a powerful moment, one that underscored the gravity of the rights being debated. It highlighted the fundamental nature of the right at stake, and challenged the administration's attempt to diminish its scope. The courtroom was silent, the weight of her words hanging in the air. Sotomayor's words, sharp and pointed, served as a stark reminder that this case wasn't just about abstract legal theories. It was about the lived experiences of countless individuals. It was about real people, real families, and their right to be recognized as Americans. The stakes were high, and Sotomayor's passionate defense of these rights was a call to remember the human element at the core of the law. Section 6. Alito's History Lesson, Birthright's Limits. Justice Samuel Alito, known for his conservative views, offered a different perspective. He delved into the historical context of the 14th Amendment, suggesting there might be exceptions to birthright citizenship. Citing past cases, he questioned whether the amendment's framers intended to grant citizenship to every child born on U.S. soil, regardless of their parents' legal status. Alito's probing questions highlighted the ongoing debate over the original intent of the 14th Amendment. Was it meant to be an absolute guarantee of birthright citizenship, or were there limitations envisioned by its framers? His historical analysis, however, went beyond the birthright debate. He also expressed skepticism about the expansive power of nationwide injunctions, arguing that they upset the balance of power between the branches of government. Section 7. A question of standing, Kagan's challenge. Justice Elena Kagan, another liberal voice on the court, took a different tack. She questioned the administration's decision to bring the case before the Supreme Court in the first place. "Why are we even here?" she asked, suggesting that the case might be premature and lacked the necessary legal standing for the court to intervene. Kagan's skepticism highlighted a fundamental principle of the American legal system. Courts should only decide cases that present a genuine controversy. Her questions hinted at the possibility that the court might decline to rule on the merits of the case, leaving the lower court rulings intact. Her challenge underscored a crucial aspect of the case. Was this a legitimate legal dispute, or was the administration attempting to use the courts to advance a political agenda? Section 8. The balance of power, judiciary on the tightrope. The Supreme Court's deliberations on birthright citizenship and nationwide injunctions go far beyond the specifics of this case. They strike at the heart of the balance of power in American democracy. How much power should the judiciary have to block the actions of the elected branches of government? This question has plagued the court throughout its history. From Marbury v. Madison, which established the principle of judicial review, to Roe v. Wade, which legalized abortion nationwide, the court has grappled with its role in shaping American society. The outcome of this case could have far-reaching consequences. If the court limits or eliminates nationwide injunctions, it could embolden the executive branch to push through controversial policies with less fear of judicial oversight. Section 9. A waiting game, America holds its breath. As the gavel fell, signaling the end of oral arguments, a sense of anticipation hung heavy in the air. The fate of birthright citizenship, the power of nationwide injunctions, and the lives of countless families rested in the hands of the 9 justices. The nation waited, holding its breath, for a decision. Would the court uphold the promise of the 14th Amendment, affirming the principle that everyone born on U.S. soil is a citizen? Or would they chip away at this fundamental right, leaving many in legal limbo? The court's ruling, expected in late June or early July, is sure to have profound and lasting implications for American society. It will shape the meaning of citizenship, the balance of power within the government, and the lives of generations to come.